Hello, this is Context Channel. President Uhuru Kenyatta is back wanting more money simply because too much money is not enough money for him. He's requesting around 2 billion in his retirement office maintenance amount. He claims that through his spokesman yesterday that about 600 million that was passed for office expenses in the previous financial year was not disbursed, and around 500 million for this year have not been passed, and now he wants to frame it like he's struggling, and that's a joke. Or imagine Uhuru Kenyatta returning back requesting for 2 billion Kenya shillings. It's amazing. As I said before, too much money is not enough money for Uhuru Kenyatta, who we know through the Pandora papers that he's a beneficiary to an account in Panama that is listed to have 3 trillion Kenya shillings. Yeah, that is money he is listed in as a beneficiary to some foundation in a hidden account in Panama. Somewhere has trillions of Kenya shillings stashed somewhere between 2018 and 2022. But according to Uhuru Kenyatta, that's not the amount of money he would, he will use. He doesn't want that. He wants more money from the public, because probably maybe Kenya exists only to fund them, his activities. And it's very much interesting. When I saw Uhuru Kenyatta is back, I thought he would come explaining. He had a lot of explaining to do before he left. You remember this time the Pandora papers came out. He had traveled abroad, and the accusations came linking him, not accusation from some peddlers of rumors, but from the International Consortium of Journalists, stating how much money his family has stashed away, and he has been listed as a beneficiary in one of the accounts that is registered, and some Panama client, the number of which is very well known in the public domain. And he stated that after returning to Kenya, he will address that. Of course, he did not address that. That's something he wouldn't do. And before that, there were this complaint concerning COVID millionaires. A lot of money had been issued to fight the COVID illness. We all remember. And then that money disappeared. And through some shady businesses with Kamsa, and people in his camp, including his family members, were mentioned. President Uhuru Kenyatta promised to address that thing. Of course, he will not. He was really happy to sit on that, not do anything about it, and wait out Kenyans to die off. And now, even as Kanze Dena was complaining just how much President Uhuru Kenyatta has not been receiving money, she admits that the president has been receiving his allowances, retirement allowances, and health insurance. Not health insurance. This is the president who used police to fight COVID. You remember when COVID came, he used police to whip people around, to kick people trying to access ferry here. And people who are vulnerable without any health insurance. But President Uhuru Kenyatta has his own insurance, but that's not enough, really. It cannot be enough. Too much money, as I said before, is not enough money for Uhuru Kenyatta. Always wanting more, requesting around maybe between 1 and 2 billion to do, among other things, rent his office. There's this debate that's going on that there's an office that was left by President Mwai Kibaki at it's called Nyari office or something, that President Kenyatta is not willing to use, and instead of that, he insists that he should use his in his premises and rent it and have it rented by the government. And President Kenyatta does not feel lucky that he owns so much land, that he's actually building a city alone called Northland. Maybe not necessarily alone, but he has enough land for that. He doesn't feel lucky that he has all that he has had an opportunity to serve this country 10 years as a president, and that much money, and cannot just obey, other people. He cannot go work in another office. He must have the government rent his own land and office and frame it like he has no other office to work with. Those are some of the very interesting things that really we find with these people. And Kanze Dena yesterday was explaining very well that it is in the law, Presidential Retirement Act. Okay, we know the law that always protects the rich and does not protect the poor. So him or other people could not find the laws under which the Afia scandal, in which people connected to President Uhuru Kenyatta swindled the state money. There was no law then. Okay, there was not law. And even in COVID millionaires, with that much money that was stolen, hundreds of millions of Kenyan shillings was stolen while the rest of the country was starving, and President Kenyatta and Kanze Dena were getting healthier. There was no law then. There was no law to hold them to account. There was no any act. And later on, even during the Eurobond, some of people, very well connected people like Jimmy Wanjigi, have been telling us that around 200 billion that was taken through that Eurobond was lost through shady dealings. And among others, the then controller of budget, a gentleman called Ouko, an authority in that area, stated that the amount was stolen, never arrived in Kenya. The responsibility solely lies with President Uhuru Kenyatta. But he has not been addressing that. Okay, around 200 billion Kenya shilling, 200 million US dollars minus just some pocket change. The rest of it sank. It was sunk, disappeared. The only person who can explain that is Uhuru Kenyatta, but hey, that's not why he is in public domain. Now he wants to charge the public now to demand that he be given out 2 billion shillings because, quote unquote, the current regime is stifling the operations of his office. Yeah, because 200 million Kenya shillings is not enough for his activities. Around 3 trillion hidden in Panama is not enough for his operations, and a monthly pension is really not enough for his not enough really. It's not enough. Too much money is not enough money for Uhuru Kenyatta. Always wanting more. You've got to love Uhuru Kenyatta. It's amazing. These are the kind of people we have had as leaders in Kenya. People just so entitled, people who just cannot stand even showing the least concern for Kenyans. Yeah, because even the current debt crisis that we are in debt crisis because money was used irresponsibly. If Eurobond was invested wisely, we wouldn't be in that debt. Or even if he didn't find anything to use it with, he should have returned it then, and we will only be stuck with interest. But that's not what Uhuru Kenyatta should do. So that was lost. Then he's here now complaining, including concerning that he has vehicles, and his spokesperson is telling us that they are so bad, so out of shape, because they are the same vehicles he drove in Kasarani when Ruto was being sworn in. Seriously? Are they necessarily that old? Are they that old? Well, I don't know. But maybe you will tell me in the comment whether the vehicle you drive yourself, how old is it? Of course, it is Uhuru Kenyatta should always have new vehicles, right? And I can only just stand and stare and laugh at this circus of entitled people trying to, to ask more because it can never be enough. And he was the guy after the Afia scandal and other many scandals. We Kenyans complained that he needed to do something, and after driving us in circles and not saying much, he said, mnataka nifanye nini jamani? So President Uhuru Kenyatta and Kanze Dena, unataka tufanye nini jameni? What can we do for you? Kenyans, Context channel, like, share and subscribe. Let me know your view.